Naomi's bistro was slightly behind in their holiday decorating. And by slightly behind, she meant she hadn't even started. Shopping, cooking, decorating, baking, entertaining. And unless Owen and James were taking care of it, she hadn't even begun to think about Christmas supper. She had batches and batches of brown bread to bake, not to mention cookies, and maybe a sherry trifle this year. After all, she had a bit of competition. Declan O'Rourke had made his mam's hot cocoa this year, and supposedly it was to die for, both with and without the added kick of Irish cream. He was outselling even Siobhán's brown bread, and several times she glanced out the window to see long lines of folks waiting to get into his pub for a hot cocoa fix. "You buy the finest squares of chocolate, and melt them down with sugar and powdered cocoa. That's me mam's trick," Declan crowed. "Then, of course, there's the Irish cream. Then top it with fresh cream. You can't beat it." She had yet to try it, but that would soon be rectified, as O'Rourke's was going to be having a tasting booth set up at the winter carnival. It was all starting this evening in the town square. Up ahead, she saw a wheelchair stopped in the footpath. Soon she recognized Adam Healy's mop of blonde hair. A tall weed of a man stood next to him, taping a flyer to the street lamp. As Siobhán neared, she saw it was a photo of Adam's new golden retriever puppy, with capital letters splashed across the top. "Goldie missing." "Missing?" Siobhán exclaimed. Adam turned to her as Siobhán gently touched his shoulder. Just 10 years of age, Adam was the butcher's son. Ed Healy had just sold her the bone for Trigger, and he hadn't mentioned Adam's pup was missing. Come to think of it, she hadn't mentioned Trigger was missing either, for she'd been afraid saying it out loud would somehow make it real. She realized now how silly she was. She should have told her siblings, and they should be putting up flyers as well. "Someone stole him," Adam said, his bottom lip quivering. Siobhán turned to the man next to him. He was a man into his late 60s, with a haggard but kind face. "Are you Adam's grandfather?" The man held out his hand. "Dave Healy. I'm the uncle." She could see it now. He looked like an older, thinner version of Ed, the butcher. "Nice to meet you. Where are you from yourself?" "Mayo," he said. Mayo was in the west of Ireland, and it had been ages since Siobhán had been. One of these days she was going to go on a holiday around Ireland, and then everywhere else. "Ah, lovely," Siobhán said. "It's nice to have you here." He gave a nod, and then lifted the flyers in his hand. "Didn't expect Christmas to start off with such cruelty. What kind of person would do something like this?" He glanced at Adam. The poor lad had had a rough start to life. In a wheelchair since 5 years of age, after an illness left him paralyzed. Then last year, his Nana died at Christmas. His mam was called away this year to visit her sister, who was in hospital in America. Now this. That's why it took a village to raise a child. The world could be a cruel place indeed. Siobhán knelt next to his wheelchair and placed her hand on his shoulder. "Tell me everything." "He was an early Christmas present from Uncle Dave, even though he's allergic." Dave laughed. "The chemist will sort me out, lad. Don't you worry about that." "Goldie was in our garden last night. He likes it out there, and Da said puppies need to get out their excess energy, so we let him be. When I went to call him in for the night, he was gone." His voice trembled, and tears welled in his eyes. Is it possible he just wiggled out on his own? Siobhán wanted to make it sound like everything was going to be fine, but she had a feeling that 2 missing dogs was no coincidence. Dave Healy shook his head. "The garden is well fenced in, and I went around and checked before we let the pup roam about. And I did a second check after he went..."